Hello, in this video we're going to have a look at the step which is intended to stretch one's toe. So last video we did have a look at the step to stretch the heel, and this time we'll be stretching toe. So last video this was the matter of cultivating yin within the human body. This time we'll be cultivating yang. So let's have a look how the step is meant to be practiced first, and then we'll break it down into details. Okay, so let's break it down now. I could start with lowering the chi as always, so knees are not going beyond the toes. And having an empty step as a starting point. My goal is to prolong the step as if I had tiny little wheels here in the toe. Yeah? So, putting the leg as if this was an empty step. And then this tiny little wheels here allows me to like slide or glide forwards. Okay? So I'm like just sliding. Another idea to have in mind to better understand what to do. So we have a stream going down below here. And how can we step over the stream? If the stream is not big, we can just step over like this, right? If the step is a bit bigger, then we can try to jump over. But what's the difference between the jump and the step? The difference is that within the jump, we are like flying for a while, but within the step, we are always having the weight of the body between two legs. So another important thing here in the step is to make sure that the center is level on a single kind of line, so it's not jumping forwards or it's not going very like downward. So it should be on a single line. And if we want to step over this little stream here, we want to just prolong the step. So we're not jumping, but instead we're just like stepping over. So that's another kind of thing to bear in mind to understand how the step is done. Now let's go a bit deeper, like beyond the form, and try to have a look at the principles, the internal principles being involved. So we have palms and feet and shoulders and hip joints, and all these parts of the body are meant to be yin parts of the body, meaning that they are about to stretch, to expand, and generally to give a direction, to guide like in a certain direction. So that those are the features of the yin body parts. And when it comes to the stepping in particular, what we need to make sure of is that we put in order all these parts. So the foot and the hip joint should get stretched like this. So the mistake for this step would be having a fixed kind of tense distance between these two and just like breaking into the toe. This is not correct. So if you do like this is not correct. So it should be a never-ending expansion, never-ending stretching. So I stretch, 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 and the stretch does not stop. So again, I stretch, 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 and also my backward leg is working interestingly. So pay attention to this one. Okay, So it just keeps pushing me, forwards. If the yin meridians that we have in the back of part of our leg is about accumulative power, yin power, so they are more likely to accumulate the motion, the chi in legs. Then these front meridians, yang meridians, are more likely meant for stretching. Okay, so more likely to be meant for stretching, and the stretching is happening within the leg itself. Uh, the toe is just the helper that allows us to have a point in mind, like over in here, that we focus at. Another point is the hip joint. So once we're capable of start sliding like this, okay, this allows us to like work out this meridians. We have muscles and tendons in our body, and every time we involve muscles, the motion cannot be stretched, and that's a very important thing to bear in mind. So muscles are more likely to tense, to make tension, and to pull things to yourself, which makes you tense because you're holding something, you cannot release it, hence the fears, hence the tension, and you are thinking about this all the time, and you cannot reach your full potential because of this like tense state. And the idea behind stretching legs, stretching toes, and stretching the body in general, the idea behind this is to reveal your full potential. So this is what the Yang channels are all about, the matter of revealing your full potential. And there is a nice set of exercises, quite an ancient one, which is called Yijijin. So that's the set helping us to stretch tendons and to make changes in muscles, so that we switch from the system of muscles to the system of tendons. And generally, the Yijijin form set is meant to be practice with an idea of stretching literally all the tendons in the human body possible, including the spine. So, for instance, like just a 45 degrees view for a better understanding. So, I will now demonstrate the first form of Yijijin. Seemingly, I'm raising my hands, but on the real deal, I'm stretching my tendons with the whole body, and again, stretching, not only arms, but also the legs. I'm using toes for that matter, yeah? Let's say. And again, just stretching, not only arms, but legs are stretched as well, okay? And now stretching the whole body. And then relax. So, how to stretch tendons? So the idea is to get tendons involved. If tendons are not working during this step, this would be more jumping rather than sliding. So if I do with muscles, I would be like trying to slide like this, because I'm trying to using muscles makes me pulling, not releasing, not like letting go. But if I use the tendons, I can easily stretch. I can easily like let go. So just letting go everything. So how to stretch? We can have a look how to stretch the arm, how to stretch the leg, and how to stretch the spine, because it's really hard. So you cannot stretch the leg without stretching the spine. You cannot stretch the leg without stretching arms, like relaxing shoulders and letting the chi go through the arms and to the very fingertips. So how the stretching is working? The easiest way to feel the stretching is within one's arm. There is a nice exercise you can try with the partner. So you say you just land your hand on someone else's shoulder, okay? So I put my hand on his shoulder. Let's say like this. Yeah, I put the hand on his shoulder, and what he does. So someone puts the hand on my shoulder, and so this is his shoulder, this is his elbow, this is his palm. So I put my arms onto his elbow and start pushing as hard as I can. Okay, and the person who has this hand. So if I use muscles, which means essentially I'm trying internally to pull this, then the more he's pushing to the elbow, the more it bends. Okay? So in order to resist, what I need to do, I need to direct my power outside, outwards. So I'm about to stretch. So I feel like my arm is lying on his shoulder, and I'm sort of trying to push myself from that shoulder, like as if I've been pushing myself against the wall. So like we have the wall here, and I'm just pushing myself, like trying to be as far from the wall as possible, like pushing myself against the wall. Okay. So if I do this with his shoulder, and in the meantime he would be trying to bend my elbow, he's not going to succeed no matter how hard he pushes, because muscles cannot be stronger than the tendons. So because it's just about physical power, tendons and stretching can hold really a lot, because we involve tendons, and also we involve bones, and this is generally stronger than just the bare muscles. So that's one of the secrets behind this so-called inner power. So using tendons instead of using muscles, and also using bones as a support. So let's say for a bone, if I put my leg like this, and here I can put like 100 kilograms, and it's going to just lie on my leg. Okay, so my muscles are only needed to make sure that it doesn't slip this way, it doesn't slip this way. So muscles are only needed to fix the bones, and tendons are needed to make sure that, like, if bone just stands on something, it's static. It might be like falling somewhere. So let's say we have a bone here. Let's say here, like tendons are connected like ropes. So rope here, rope here, rope here, rope here. So we want to stretch this rope as hard as we can, and like say here we have some points in the ground where, so one point is here, another point is here. So we stretch the rope as hard as we can, okay, like this, and it makes like, say I'm the pillar and my arms are ropes. So if I'm not stretched, then the pillar might bend, the pillar might just, you may push it, it might fall somewhere. But in case if I have these ropes that stretching the pillar, so one is connected there, another one is connected there, and I'm all connected. I'm not tensed, I'm stretched and connected. And this makes me standing still and strong, because I have supports all over the place. And in this case, my muscles are only doing the job of like make sure that the direction of where to make this rope being connected is happening. So say the muscles are responsible. So either I want to connect from this side, one group of muscles is used, or if I want to connect this side, another group of muscles is used. If I want to connect from behind, another group of muscles is used. But muscles are not meant to be used for like the power, because you're going to get tired very quickly. But with tendons, you can do physical work for a long time without being tired. That's the idea. So those people who have experience working hard physically, they know that, like, more likely using tendons, not muscles, because you are going to end up being tired very quickly. So getting back to this step, so I don't know. In my country, there were dolls back in the day when I was a kid. So how the doll worked? So it was like plastic body, and within this plastic body, and it had holes for arms, and it also had holes for legs, and all this was connected internally with a stretching rubber, okay? Stretching rubber connecting these. So imagine that this is the plastic body, yeah, and there is a hole in here, and the arm is like being plugged in, and in the arm there inside, the rubber is tied around the arm, the inner side of the arm, in here, and another part of the rubber is tied with this part um, of the arm, so that if so that one arm, another arm, and the rubber that connects these two arms. So this is a single piece. And say the arms are going like this. So if you pull this rubber from here, the arms gets like this suddenly, okay? And then if you release, they drop down again. You pull the rubber here and bend, and the arms becomes like this. And same with legs also. So it's not only connected the arms, not only the arms connected, but also the legs are connected. And all this is tied up into a single knot. And hence the doll was like this. So it was like connected internally. And say if you could try to move this internal knot, which was not possible because it was inside a plastic body, but if you could move it, then it would be like moving the arms and the legs simultaneously. Or in other hand, if you did move the arm for that doll, another arm was like filling this, and sometimes even leg was also exposed into motion when you pull the arm, because internally arms and legs within that doll were all connected with a single rubber. Okay, so this represents this is like a simplified version of how tendons are working within the human body. With tendons, it's much more complicated than the structure that I've just described. But generally, the idea is that if I want to make this step, I need to involve the tendons. Okay, so when I start this stretching, so stretching starts even before the gliding starts or sliding starts. So stretching starts with you remember this example of put the hand on someone else's shoulder and stretch against that. Imagine we do a similar thing with our legs. So say we put the leg onto someone's shoulder, yeah, and he's trying to break our knee, although it doesn't make sense with this position. But anyway, so trying to like push myself away from the ground as far as possible, like trying if the ice is okay, if I can step. So say I'm on the lake, on a frozen lake, all the ice is around. So if I just step, I may go into under the water. Okay, so I first need to check if I can step there, so without my weight in there. So I'm just checking if I can step. And how do I know that I can step without the weight? I start slightly pushing the ice there, and in order to push the ice, I need to sort of stretch my leg like this, okay? And even further, and I'm just stretching. And then if ice is cracking, then I just step back and I'm fine. But if I feel that the ice is not cracking, then I can slide further on and make a step. So that's the idea. So before this sliding even starts, I have this point within my toe, and I'm stretching from this point. I'm stretching the tendons along the leg, and it goes like bidirectional. So it goes like this. It goes like this. Okay, so it might be treated as a helper exercise. So I'm just stretching. Okay, I'm stretching. I'm stretching. I'm stretching. Okay, and when the stretching comes to its limit, okay, no longer to stretch, then it starts sliding. This is the idea. Stretching, 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 and then it starts sliding. And when I'm stretching the leg, in the meantime, my spine stretches in both directions. So on the one hand, the tailbone goes down below. On the other hand, top head goes up to the heaven. So I'm stretching this, but my spine also gets stretched, and also my arms, like internally, they are being stretched within the form of the sap itself. This is it. So I'm walking like this, yeah. But the idea of this is just to stretch the arm. So stretching the leg, stretching the arm, essentially like this. Okay, so I stretch my leg forwards, I stretch my arms to the sides, like 90 degrees. So stretch, okay, and then stretch this side. So this is how it works. Why is that needed, essentially? Um, when it comes to facing some difficulties in your life, along the path, along the life path, it's like the matter of dynamics. So if we avoid dynamics in our lives, we're not growing, we're not reaching the edge of our potential, and we're not developing ourselves, and essentially we are wasting our lives. So if we want to improve, if we want to grow, if we want to somehow like reach the cutting edge of our potential, we need to add some dynamics. And this matter of stretching is the inner mechanism that allows us to involve the dynamics within the motion. So let's say the art of Baguazhang is entirely based on this principle. So it's very dynamic, exactly due to the fact that I'm stretching the tendons all the time. This is based on the Baguazhang step. So I become very dynamic, exactly due to this mechanism. And so on. So I'm stretching all the time my inner structure. And this allows me to be very agile. This allows me to change the direction very quickly. This allows me to generally like add the aspect of dynamics into what am I doing. So that's quite important. But you may consider many motions and still be static internally. So this is not the matter of moving back and forth all the way along, though it helps, but you may move and still not have this inner dynamics. But the inner dynamics comes when the tendon system, the system of tendons, gets involved in a way, so essentially just gets stretched to all directions at the same time. So when that is the case, so you can not only stretch the arm or the leg, you just from the center you stretch to everywhere, okay? And this stretching allows you to like move as one. There is a very important concept of moving as one. So not moving as one means like you just the leg goes, then you fall apart, then you like cripple like this. But if you just move as whole, yeah, so tendons allow you to move as whole, okay? The massive back or forth, so just move as one. Yeah guys, that's it from my side. I wish you good luck with developing your tendons and try to move as one using this step of stretching ones too. So thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, and cheers.